life. And I mean physically, emotionally, mentally. I can tell you I have been through it, and I have used all of those different experiences to do one thing, to get a deeper connection in myself with higher energy in the universe. Because ultimately you realize there is no other answer. You try to fix what goes on here in this world and you can't fix it. It's just all an illusion. It's all a dream. It's like Maya, and there's no fixing it, but we can fix ourselves. And I keep telling this to people all the time, we can fix ourselves. We just have to do the inner work. We have to understand that all of it is nothing more than a test. And when you try to yell and fight with people and correct them and do all this stuff, it just is kind of a waste of a lot of energy. But if you take that same energy and work inside yourself, you can build a system inside that when somebody is doing crazy things around you, doesn't affect you. You have compassion for them instead of anger at them. You love them instead of being angry at them. Because it's like what Christ said. He's on the cross. Forgive them; they know not what they do. I think that's the most profound thing ever written. And we as human beings have to learn that. We have to learn that. Most people are very limited. Most people, do not have a lot of training. They're, even our parents, they don't have training. Our children, most of them have no training in life, how to go inside, how to build a system inside, how to get to God, how to open to spirit. Understand? And we as people, are here to learn how to do that. So when we go through all these trying situations, and believe me, I mean, God knows if I ever sat down here and talked about all the crap I've had to go through in order to get where I am today, I'm telling you, it's a 2,000-page book. So you go through it, you learn from it, you get stronger because of it, instead of allowing it to take you apart and tear you apart. It's a test, and it's an opportunity to really learn. And it has to do with, anything, emotional problems, physical illness, everything that we go through as human beings. All of us, are not immortal. We have problems. We come to the earth to learn how to resolve problems, to learn how to transform suffering into joy, into love, into openness, into happiness, and it's the way we work out our karma. And as I'll repeat it again, what I have been through in my life, trust me, the none of you, it's beyond surreal, the kind of things I have been through in my life that were testing my spiritual growth. I have nothing but gratitude for all of those people and all of that stuff I had to go through, because it's made me into what I've become today. It's given me an incredible amount of inner strength, because going through those things taught me that I have to go deeper in myself. I have to build a system inside that is strong enough to, connect with spirit, to open to what really nurtures me and really gives me my life. And then I can deal with all these things. And part of the growth process is learning to forgive. Because you don't forgive for other people, you have to forgive for yourself. Because really, in forgiving, you move on in life. You're no longer holding grudges inside. You're no longer angry at people. You're no longer, you can move on in your life. You can take a breath and not allow this emotional stuff to really congest you inside and tear apart your day and tear apart yourself as a human being. I've been through it. Trust me. I mean, if I sat down and wrote what I've been through in the last 30, 40 years in order to grow in my life, I'm telling you, it's a 2,000, 3,000 page book. And some of it is beyond all human comprehension. And I really mean this. So we go through what we have to go through. And it's just a way of learning. It's not a way of destroying ourselves. It's a way of learning how we as human beings can go deeper inside ourselves, can build a system inside that truly enables us to get to God. It's the only answer. Building a connection between oneself and higher energy in the universe. That's building a chakra system, getting real foundation inside. getting your heart really open so that you can transform all the emotional stuff into love, into joy, into forgiveness, into patience. Please try and stop moving. Hello? Please, you have to stop moving. It's disrupting the class. Please stop moving. It's disrupting the class. Anyway, I'm only talking from my own experience, what I have been through in my life and what I have learned from having gone through it in my life. This is not stuff I read about in a book. In fact, most of everything I talk about, I don't read about in books. I write about them in my own books, but I've never read about these things. They come from my living experience and what I've had to go through in my life in order to get to do what I'm doing today, to transmit this amazing Shakti and energy, and to be grateful to my teachers because their teachings truly helped me to get there. So it's all of us, it's really what you want in life. We make our own lives, and it's what we want in life that determines where we go with our life. To me, it was always, how do I get past this stuff to get to God? That was always the answer to me. And when I couldn't get to that answer, when I was very young, I used to have teachers come from the cosmos and smack me across the head and say, stupid, this is where you have to go. Because that's the only place where you're going to get real answers. You're going to get the strength to deal with your karma and whatever you have to live through on the earth. And, and all the rest of it is just a bunch of nonsense. It all passes, it all comes and goes. And one day it's this problem, the next day it's another problem, the day after it's another problem. And there's always something that comes along that tests us as people. And we need to be tested because most of us would do nothing about ourselves if we don't have these tests. We would grow like a bunch of cabbages in a garden, and if we didn't have things to remind us that we got to do something about ourselves. So instead of being upset at these things, you got to be grateful for them. Okay, I haven't arrived yet. I'm not a totally enlightened being. I'm not perfect. I have work to do on me. And I will do the work that will help me to grow in my life. And then you begin to realize that real enlightenment is not reaching some crystallized state where you don't go in any direction and you sit there in some golden throne, projecting your enlightenment. Real enlightenment is to be able to grow every day in your life and to become a happy person, an open person full of compassion, full of forgiveness, and full of having the capacity to use whatever happens in your life to get closer to your spiritual enlightenment. This is real enlightenment. And it's not, as I say, some crystallized state where you're sitting there in robes, with some beatific smile on your face and you think you've arrived somewhere. It has nothing to do with it. Because even those teachers that do that, you don't know what goes on 10 minutes later in their life. You really don't. So real enlightenment is one's growth, one's capacity to transcend and transform all of the things that happen to us into joy, into love, into a commitment to God, into a commitment to serve higher energy, to serve the people in your life, and to live on the highest levels of what it means to be a human being in this world. And if you think you're going to go through life without being tested, I promise you're in for a lot of serious disappointment and a lot of pain because it comes. It still comes to me. I have things that happen all the time that I have to digest and swallow and open to and transform into my spiritual life. I mean, as long as we're alive, we will never be perfect. Perfection is in the realm of God, Human beings have endless imperfection, and we're given imperfection as a learning tool. We need it. We need it to grow. We need things wrong with us. And this isn't masochistic, because honestly, there's nothing we can do about it. They just come, and I don't care who you are. They will come to you in your life. The real strength comes in being able to do something about it. building a system inside that enables you to transform all of these things into things what gets you closer to God and closer to your spiritual enlightenment. That's the real test. And it's also a real state of enlightenment, because then you don't wallow in it and get upset. You use it. Okay, I'm having a hard time today. Okay, I will use that to grow. I will use that to build a strong foundation of myself, to get closer to God, to get more open inside. And then whatever happens to you works for you. And then there's no more positive and negative. It's just different experiences that work for you, that help you to grow. And I think it's an incredible way to live, because otherwise we get slaughtered by life. Look what goes on in this world. Just pick up a newspaper, for God's sake, turn the television on. I once told you this, that somebody once asked me to define hell. And I told them, just turn on CNN. You'll instantly see hell, hell on earth, what goes on here, And then the alternative is, can we build an inner life that's strong enough to transform this kind of hell that we live in into something that's wonderful? And then be able to share that with other human beings, with compassion, with love, with, kindness, with growth, with our connection with God. That's what these classes are for, to help everyone that attends them to build that kind of inner life. And I think that's really important. It certainly was important to me when I was younger, and it's even more important to me today to do that, because without that, what? Just endless drama, endless soap opera, endless insanity. It goes on, it never stops, So please, everyone, try and work really deep inside, and really try to open inside, and to really take in the Shakti, take in the energy, and to use the Shakti and to use the energy to build in yourself a real connection with God or higher energy. And we'll have, after class, if anyone has a question, I'll be happy to try and answer the question. Good, everyone. Does anyone have a question? As I told you all last class, that tomorrow I have to have just a very minor procedure done on my eye. And so I think it will be best that I don't have class Monday and Tuesday. So there'll be no class on Tuesday. I just need to give my eye a rest. But it's just a minor thing, and they have to take care of something, and it takes about 12 seconds for them to do it. But it's good that I just rest. So the next class will be on Thursday. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? There's something that I should talk about. People get in touch with me all the time about coming to meditation. And, everybody's welcome. I really, 7 billion people showed up here. I would find a way to do it. Everybody is welcome to attend these classes. But I have a real problem with people that say, I will come, and then they disappear for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. I don't see them, and they don't get in touch with me. They don't say, and I take their name off the mailing list. Because what really inspires me, as I tell you this all the time, is the fact that people make a consistent effort, because what I teach doesn't work unless people make a consistent effort. And if somebody shows up once every 3 weeks or once a month, it's a waste of my time, and it's a waste of their time. It means that their priorities are somewhere else, whatever they do, and it's okay with me. I'm not in competition with anybody. And I think it's, best to save all the Shakti and energy of these meditations to people that really come and make a commitment. Not just people that take it for granted. Well, I don't have to come on a Tuesday. I can come, in March. Stuart will be doing this. And it's not good taste and it doesn't work. So I take people's names off the list. If they want to come, they're welcome to come back. I never tell people no, but I also tell them that if they don't make a consistent effort, I'm not interested in having them come here. I'm not looking for quantities of students. I'm looking for great quality in people that can truly learn how to use what I teach to build a spiritual life inside themselves. So if you know anybody who's interested in this, please tell them this, because, I'm not interested in people that are trying me out. It's really a lot of arrogance. I'm going to try you. I have people to tell me this. I'm going to try you out. And it's just a lot of ego. People that say, I want to learn. They're coming to learn. If it doesn't work, okay, it's all right. What I do is not for everybody. But at least they're coming here not to try me out, but to learn something about what they can use to build their own inner life. So I just need to share this with all of you because I get a lot of this. And then I don't see people for weeks and I take their name off the list and maybe they get insulted. I don't know, but that's not my problem. My problem is to transmit and to teach people that really want to learn. And I think the rest of it is, there's plenty of teachers in the world, and as I say, I can't teach everybody, but I can teach people that make it a priority. It's important for their lives, and they show up and do it. And I don't mean, if something happens and this and that, it's not a problem, but it's just that when people disappear, and take it for granted without sending me an email or something that I can't make it and I have to go traveling and do so. There's nothing wrong. I'm just a human being and we're all human beings. But I don't want people to take this for granted and assume that they can show up every 3 weeks or 4 weeks and that's the way they can learn something. You can't learn this doing that. You have to make a commitment. And all of you here have made a commitment. I see you all the time, and it makes me very grateful. And it makes me work really deep inside myself because there's a commitment, not only on my part, but on the part of everybody, who comes here. So I just had to share this with you. Does anyone have a question they would like to ask? Gotta have something, question. Okay.
Can I ask a
Yes.
question? I will try to talk in English. I am not using English, and I'm not so.
Laura, please sit still while you ask the question. Okay.
Sorry.
I hate to keep reminding you, but it's really important. It disrupts the class. No, go ahead. Go ahead, dear.
I'm sorry every time I am not still because I feel your energy. It's very strong, and I get reaction. And now I'm getting very much reaction. And I went deeper now, but I'm not good. And we have to finish class. What should I do now?
Can you do me a big favor? Just a big favor. Have patience, okay? This doesn't come in a week. Have patience with yourself. I think, frankly, from the first day you came here to see you sitting quietly and still through a class, that in itself is a wonderful thing. And that shows me that you've made a lot of growth in a very short period of time. But have patience with yourself. I mean, you know, you don't build a pyramid from the top down. You go brick by brick by brick by brick. And that's what we're doing here. We're building a spiritual chakra system is like a pyramid. You build it brick by brick. You know, you don't think you have to be perfect at this because look, I've been doing this a long, long time and I'm not perfect at this. But I welcome the imperfection because it tells me I still have to keep putting bricks in building the pyramid.
Okay, but my question is what to do to now after we have finished a class, because
Well,
it's a reaction in my body.
Well, I can suggest what to do. I suggest that people should sit down and do this meditation, whether they're in class or not, at least once a day. You get a picture of a teacher, you know, if, you know, my picture works for you, fine. If my teacher's picture or somebody else, the Buddha, Christ, I don't care, something to focus on. And you take a half hour, morning, in the early evening, and you do this meditation on your own. At first, it's going to be difficult. I remember when I first tried to do this on my own, I couldn't sit for 30 seconds. My mind was so active. But then you slowly manage to get the discipline and you learn how to do this, not just in the class, but on your own. And it takes 20 minutes to a half hour of your day. And I don't think anybody here doesn't waste 20 minutes in a day. So instead of wasting that 20 minutes, set up a little altar with a picture of a teacher, sit down and do the meditation. It'll really help you to build discipline inside yourself. That's what I suggest. And then come to these classes because the energy is very strong in these classes. I mean, where you don't find this energy at a social club, you know, it's not there. You know, you find it in these classes. It's very powerful. So they're available. They're basically, I mean, look, I ask people to make donations. A lot of you do, some of you don't, I don't care. But it's free of charge, basically. I say, make a $5 donation. I mean, it's a cup of coffee at a Starbucks, you know? But I ask people to donate to do this. And some of you do, and some of you don't. And I don't give a damn. It doesn't matter. I'm not interested in the money, but it's basically free to come and do this. And what's free in life? You know, this is such a treasure, you know? And
it is.
Take advantage of it.
I try to be every time here.
That's all right. Look, Flora, I like you very much, Flora. You're a dear. And I see you growing, and it just makes me very grateful to see you growing. Does anyone else have a question they would like to ask? Okay, if there are no more questions, then I will see everybody next Thursday. And please have a wonderful week and sustain the work. Do it at home. You know, work on yourself. And if you know people that are interested in coming, you know, they're very welcome. As I say, if 7 billion people showed up, I'd figure out a way to do it. They're very welcome to come and participate in this, but also they have to tell them that this is not something that you just try out and, you know, you go, once a month. It has to be, there's something of a commitment that has to be made in order to really learn what I have to teach. And it's 2 classes a week, 1 class a week, 3 classes, you know, it's about 2 hours of one's time in a 165-hour week that this takes up. But I need to have at least that kind of commitment. And God bless you all. And thank you for being here. And again, I'm telling you, your presence here really demands of me, and I need that demand, and it really helps my growth as well. So bless you all, and I'm looking forward to seeing you on next Thursday.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.